Now available in paperback, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. David Zaslav, the new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, the company that merged when Warner Brothers and Discovery came together, is now hiring James Gunn and Peter Safran to run the newly minted DC Studios. Now, your David Zaslav hopes that your James Gunn and Peter Safran will do what Kevin Feige did for Marvel Studios and set a direction for DC superhero films and take these DC superhero films to the box office at success that Marvel Studios enjoys with its Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, the decision to hire your James Gunn and Peter Safran looks like a very good business decision from David Zaslav, who is looking to turn things around at Warner Brothers, who has struggled over the past decade and a half to be able to compete in the superhero movie marketplace. Now, over the last couple of years, your Warner Brothers has struggled as related to competing in the superhero movie genre, with many of its films not really consistently performing well, and with the hit or miss as related to their films, your Warner Brothers has lost a lot of market share as related to the Hollywood box office, and it lost even more money as related to merchandising. And your David Zaslav really wants to go out here and turn things around with your DC Studios, and he hopes that DC Studios will be able to build and get the same success that Marvel Studios has had for Disney over the last 15 years. Now, I believe that your James Gunn and your Peter Safran, again, are highly qualified for this job, and your James Gunn really is going to be a strong asset for helping DC Studios start to lay the building blocks for building a stronger DC universe. Now, James Gunn has experience in superhero movies, having produced the very successful Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel Studios, and his unique vision for superheroes is something that really resonates with viewers across the globe, with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy and his recent adaptation of Peacemaker for HBO Max went over extremely well. And with your James Gunn, possibly we have a great visionary who can go out here and build a solid foundation for a DC cinematic universe that would be much better than what we received with your DC expanded universe, which basically fell completely apart. Now, the DC expanded universe, the big problem with it was that many of the films inside of it were hit or miss, and it started out on a rocky foundation. Now, your Superman Man of Steel, with the first film in the DC expanded universe, alienated a lot of viewers who felt that the film really did not capture the spirit and the heart of the Man of Steel, the same way that the Salkin's Superman movie in 1978 did, with Christopher Reeve's definitive and signature performance as Superman and Clark Kent. And because your DC Extended Universe, which was envisioned by Zack Snyder, really didn't resonate with fans due to its dark and angry tone, it made it where many people really did not connect with DC characters the same way that they did back in the 1990s when Paul Dini and Bruce Timm laid the foundation for the DC Animated Universe. Now, the DC Animated Universe connected with viewers for an entire generation due to its brightness and its fun, but there wasn't much fun in that DC Expanded Universe due to Zack Snyder's dark vision, and that's something I'm hoping that David Zaslav and your James Gunn and Peter Safran really think about, because what makes DC unique is that these characters are symbols of hope, and we really need to see some hope on screen in these 2020s after the pandemic and all of the issues as related to the whole Donald Trump and Joe Biden situation. Most people want something hopeful and fun to go to the theater to go and see, and they want a nice, fun escape film. And I'm hoping that James Gunn, Peter Safran, and David Zaslav understand this, because if they go out here and give us bright, hopeful, fun superhero movies, then they're going to be able to create blockbusters on the level of Marvel Studios, and they may actually surpass Marvel Studios at the box office, because at this point it's anybody's game, and your Marvel Studios is extremely vulnerable after implementing Phase 4, where we have all of these different movies which really have no sense of direction or tone, and many of the films in Phase 4, really didn't connect or resonate with the viewers because of an excessive push of identity politics over story and over staying true to the source material. And that's a problem with Marvel Studios Phase 4 that your DC studios can capitalize on, because if they go out here and make big fun movies that everybody can enjoy with a bucket of popcorn, similar to what I've been hearing about Black Adam, you might see DC come back into the game and be able to start dominating the 2020s the same way Marvel Studios managed to dominate the 20-teens. And with, again, your James Gunn and Peter Safran, I believe the DC studios might possibly be at a point where they can turn things around as related to the image of DC's superheroes, which has not really been consistent, because while you have movies that are great like your Shazam, Wonder Woman, and your Aquaman, which were absolutely fantastic, we still have to deal with the films that were less than, that started the DC Expanded Universe, like Man of Steel, your Batman v Superman, and that whole Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. And if you want to build a new DC universe, I believe, again, your James Gunn and Peter Safran are the right men to go and build a new DC universe, as related to being a DC cinematic universe, because it looks like to me your James Gunn has the right ideas from what I've seen what he did with the Peacemaker series on HBO Max. Now, the Peacemaker series isn't that exact to the source material of a Peacemaker comic. However, this series was like the Tick on crack. And your James Gunn did a fantastic job of going out here and presenting the Peacemaker from where he was in the Suicide Squad, and bringing us back into his world, and also going out here and taking a shot at all of the tropes of what people called SJW comics. I mean, what James Gunn did with the Peacemaker series really felt like, again, capturing that spirit of the craziness of old Silver Age and Bronze Age DC comics, all while taking shots at all of the modern things that people had disdain for as related to DC's SJW comics. I mean, your Peacemaker, again, just took shots at all of the SJW tropes and did it brilliantly, all while moving a story forward with the Peacemaker character and giving us a lot of action, adventure, and fun. So, when I look at the Peacemaker, this is a good direction for DC Studios, and it really shows how much fun a DC comic can be. And then I've been hearing lots of good things about Black Adam, and your Black Adam looks basically, while it's cut and pasted as related to its special effects, it's got that heart and soul of a comic book, And if this is the direction DC is going in, then I feel a little bit better about Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. And I'm hoping that instead of us getting a dark, dreary Superman, we get somebody who is hopeful and fun. And I'm hoping we get a Superman movie that gives people hope and brings a friend back to the movie screens all across this country, because I really believe we really do need a bright, hopeful, and fun Superman movie, similar to what we got with Superman and Lois, the TV series, which has really been an absolutely fantastic series that does a great job of capturing the heart of what makes the Man of Steel a special guy, and what makes him Earth's greatest hero and Earth's greatest father. I'm hoping we get something in the veins of Superman and Lois with a new Superman movie, and the whole reference of Superman coming into the Black Adam at the end. From what I've heard, this is a good step for building the DC universe on screen. And again, with good visionaries like your James Gunn, who has done a great job at Marvel Studios and is now done some great work over at DC, because the Suicide Squad was a boatload of fun. And again, it really captured that crazy wackiness of old Silver Age and early Bronze Age DC comics. I mean, if we can get a just big movie like that, and we get movies like this, it'll feel like DC Comics coming back to life on screen. And these guys, I believe, could be good visionaries if they are staying focused and staying competitive. And that's the whole thing that I'm really, again, concerned about, because it's easy to get to the point where Kevin Feige got, where you became complacent and comfortable. Because what happened with Kevin Feige was he started to get complacent around Captain America Civil War, and instead of him staying focused on being competitive, he started to get comfortable, and a lot of his films started to feel like cookie cutters, and they started to feel like they were coming off the assembly line of an Archway cookie factory or a GM plant. And with that manufactured feel, they stopped having that heart and soul that I'm seeing in current films like your Aquaman or your Wonder Woman or Shazam, where those films, they felt like they had some sort of soul, and they don't. And Peacemaker, which just feels like an absolute fun ride. I mean, these are the kind of films that I wanted to see from DC Comics, and I'm hoping that James Gunn is able to go out here and bring this type of material to comic fans, and I'm hoping that they can bring some real serious competition to Marvel Studios, because at this point Marvel Studios has gotten really too complacent, and they need competition to wake them up, because at this point your Marvel Studios has gotten really lazy, and that was shown to us with She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Your Kevin Feige has taken his audience for granted by going out here and making She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and he's mocking the fans who went out here and made Disney and Marvel Studios billions of dollars. And when you get this arrogant, you really need somebody to bring you down and show you that this audience is one that you can't take for granted. And that's something that James Gunn and Peter Safran can go out here and do by producing the best superhero movies. They could go out here and yank the rug out from Marvel Studios and get people excited about DC superheroes again, something that people haven't been able to get excited about since 2011, when Warner Brothers executives at the time, like Dan Didio, decided to end the DC universe and decided to give us the era of the New 52. And ever since then, the DC brand has been in a precipitous decline, and that decline has really made it where most comic fans want nothing to do with DC Comics, and the DC brand has been absolutely damaged by years of bad storytelling, and we would look for a glimmer of hope, and James Gunn could give people that glimmer of hope. If he can maintain the high level of quality he gave us with Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, then DC has a fighting chance of going out here and being a number one competitor to Marvel Studios and basically taking the brand away from Marvel Studios as the #1 superhero movie producer, and possibly breathe some brand new life into the superhero movie genre, which is falling into rock bottom with garbage like Thor: Love and Thunder and She-Hulk: Attorney at Law. We really need something to revive the superhero genre, and I doubt it's going to be your Marvel Studios Blade, ironically, which could be the film that puts the nail in the coffin at Marvel Studios, because Blade was the film that revived the superhero genre. But when I'm looking at DC, there's a glimmer of hope, and I'm hoping that James Gunn and Peter Safran can do something with DC superheroes, because there's a catalog of great characters over there, and all they need is a great visionary who can go out here and build an entire DC cinematic universe. Because if Paul Dini and Bruce Timm can go out here and build a universe of DC superheroes that defined an entire generation, then I believe in the hands of a good visionary, your DC studios could possibly redefine those characters for yet another generation of comic fans, sci-fi fans, and fantasy fans. Now, if you want to try the books of the SJS Direct Universe, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and novels like Eternal Night and the Thetas, you can find all of the books in the SJS Direct Universe on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find the books of the SJS Direct Universe in digital format and on like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play. And you can also find them in paperback at other online booksellers. And if you want to see me go out here and make more videos about comics, science fiction, and fantasy, and the world of superheroes, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com.